Good morning everyone. How are you all? Today I'm starting with class 11 syllabus and we'll take up the book Hornbill and we'll do the first chapter, that is by Khushwant Singh, and the chapter's name is The Portrait of a Lady. I'll tell you about Khushwant Singh. Firstly, regarding this lady. Now this lady is Khushwant Singh's grandmother. We all have grandmothers and we all know grandmothers are so loving. Both grandparents, even the grandfather was also very loving. But yes, no one can take a grandmother's place. They are the most loving. They are the most protective people, They are the people who protect you all the time. And they love you so much. They are full of experience and full of stories to be told to you, to be narrated to you, so that you get to learn something from their experience. These grandmothers are just wonderful people. I remember my grandmother, she used to recite such beautiful prayers. My paternal grandmother, my dadi, she was very religious minded. She was all the time praying and she was a good cook. And my maternal grandmother, she was a knowledge of stories, books and all about everything. I used to feel she knew everything. You all must be having grandmothers, and there are many writers who have written so much about grandmothers. We have Kamala Das. She has written a beautiful poem, My Grandmother's House, and she remembers her grandmother's house, her stay with her grandmother and the fun she had and the lot of books she had in that house. Everybody remembers. Even Sudha Murthy. Have you read about Sudha Murthy? Sudha Murthy, she's still there. You must be knowing, the founder of Infosys. She is the lady who educated her grandmother at the age of 62. When grandmother was 62, she was the person who started teaching her how to read and write. Sudha Murthy taught her grandmother because grandmother felt that there is no age bar for education. And at the age of 62, she learned to read and write, and this was all because of Sudha Murthy, because Sudha Murthy loved her grandmother so much and she wanted to fulfill all her desires. And so was Khushwant Singh, who writes a pen picture, who beautifully, he writes about his grandmother in this story, A Portrait of a Lady. We'll read about it. Now a little about Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh, we all know he just died a few years back. He was an Indian journalist, and when he was young, there are many newspapers he was chief editor of. He was the founder and editor of many newspapers. The Herald, the Hindustan Times at that time, he had done a lot of work in this field of journalism. Then he was a great diplomat. He was a politician for a few years, and he was a tremendous novelist. And a famous work of his is Train to Pakistan, that he wrote in 1956. And it is all about his experience during the time of partition of India in 1947. And if you come across reading this book, do read it, I tell you. It's a beautiful novel, and the experience people had at that, what they had to go through at the time of partition. What did all he experienced with himself and his family. Some stories in that book are very good, very nice, moving, happy. But others are actual sad experience of people who had to go here and there from Pakistan or India, when the partition took place. That was a really sad moment, and we should not go into that. But if you get to read, do read this work, Train to Pakistan. Now moving on to our chapter, The Portrait of a Lady. Now he talks about his grandmother in this. beautifully he has penned down his experience, his time that he had spent with his grandmother. He had a very close relation. A true bond of love was there between grandmother and Khushwant Singh. You know, when he was very small, his father and mother, his parents, had shifted to the city because his father had a job there and he wanted to go and get settled properly. Then father had decided, Khushwant Singh's father had decided, that then he would call for grandmother and his son. Because he had to go, he had to settle there. You know, once you shift from village to city, you have to struggle for living and for everything. So, Khushwant Singh was left with his grandmother. Grandmother was a strong lady, very old, but a very strong lady. And grandmothers are always there to guard their grandchildren, no doubt. So, she took charge of him. He started staying with grandmother and she took charge of him, and she used to, you know, the day started by waking him up. He was a small boy. She used to wake him up. She used to bathe him. While bathing him, you know, she was a very religious lady. You will see when I describe her, you'll see that she is always having the beads of rosary in her hand. What are beads of rosary? You know, it's a string, and in that string we put 108 beads, and that is used for, you know, counting the number of times you are saying some whatever prayer you are saying. All right. So she used to always bathe him up, and she used to keep singing the prayers. She never forced him to learn those prayers. She did so because she herself was religious. She was doing her prayers. Moreover, she thought that the grandchild would learn a little of these prayers from her. So she used to keep doing that. Even my grandmother, you know, even my mother, they used to recite Hanuman Chalisa when I was small. And I still remember, you know, they never made me learn. I just, you know, by listening, I just was able to memorize it. So this grandmother wanted that Khushwant Singh, if he keeps hearing the same prayers again and again, he will definitely, you know, get to learn a little of it. So she wanted him to have all those, you know, traditional things and all. So she used to wake him up, she used to bathe him with prayers, then she used to dress him in his school dress, and she used to give him breakfast, and that breakfast was of what? A stale chapati. Stale is what? One night before chapati, stale chapati with a lot of butter on it, and she used to sprinkle a lot of sugar on it, and it used to be very, very tasty, and Khushwant Singh loved this. And then she also used to, you know, plaster his wooden slates. Nowadays we have got books and copies, so many things we can write on, but at that time people used to write on slates, you know, plastered with chalk and all. So she used to get his board ready every day. Early in the morning, she used to get up and clean his slate, plaster it, so that the grandchild is able to study well in the school. Then after giving him breakfast, she used to take him to school. She used to go herself to school, and the school was the same wall, you know, one side there was a school and the other side there was a temple. So she used to sit in the temple while the child was studying there. The grandchild was studying in the school. She used to sit in the temple and read her scriptures. I told you she was a religious lady. In the morning also, like, she was bathing him and saying her prayers, and then she always had this beads of rosary in her hand, and she used to keep, you know, mumbling the prayers and all. And then when he was studying in school, she used to sit and read her scriptures. And once Khushwant Singh was free from school, she used to accompany him back home. Now, while coming back home, you know, she in the morning when they came out, she every day she used to carry stale chapatis with her. When coming back from the school or the temple, she used to, you know, break them into pieces and give them to the dogs who used to follow them, and all the way, she used to keep feeding the dogs on the street. So this shows that she was such a loving lady. She loved the animals also. So she made those chapatis because she had to carry. No, she will not make without a reason so many chapatis. So because she wanted to feed the dogs, she used to make extra chapatis and she used to feed them every day. That was their routine. Now when the father got settled, he called for his mother and Khushwant Singh. So then they moved to the city. Now when they moved to the city, was a turning point in their bond of relationship in grandmother's life. See here, she was whole soul in charge of the child. He was totally dependent on grandmother. He used to sleep with her, sit with her, eat with her, talk to her, read whatever she said to. She was very happy. She used to say prayers with him. But now when they moved to the city, although they had the same room in the beginning, but he started going to the city school. Now going to the city school, and obviously he did not walk there. We all have got transport system. He used to go in a motor bus. So that was number one change that came in her routine. Every day she used to go with him, and then she used to drop him to the school, sit in the temple, read scriptures. Now there was this change that came, and she was not able to go to school with him. He used to go in the motor bus. Then, now in the city they had the modern system of education. What was that? When he used to come back, he used to tell what all he had studied. He used to tell that he was now studying everything in English. She could not help him. She did not know much. Number two, he had started studying about science and technology. She had no knowledge about science and technology, about the laws of gravity, about Archimedes' principle. She had never studied all this. So she was not able to share anything. He also told that in school he had come to know that the earth is round. This was something new she had heard. She had never heard all this. And she was very unhappy that they did not teach anything regarding God and scriptures. That is what was taught in village system, village education system. It's so different. So this she did not like at all. And when he told her that they had started giving music lessons, this really was very saddening to her. Because what she felt was, what she believed was that music is not for gentlefolk. They are meant for harlots. Harlots are people who amuse people by singing for earning. She did not like the grandchild singing songs and learning music. But she could not help it. This really made her sad. The modern education system she was not happy with. So, and in the village, there was, simple alphabets and all they used to teach. They used to teach about God, about scriptures, all this. So that was what she was accustomed to. So this was something very different and not accepted by her. Alright, then the second turning point came when he went to the university. He grew up. When he grew up, he also needed space. He was a big boy now. He wanted a separate room. Or the parents must have thought that he needs space now. He needs to be in his own room. So they provided him with a room, and now she was left alone in the bedroom. Till now, at least he was sleeping with her. That bond was there, but now that was also broken. But grandmother was a very strong charactered lady. She accepted her seclusion with resignation. Seclusion is being alone. With resignation. She did not fight. She did not complain. She did not cry in front of someone, in front of anyone. She was upset. She felt very sad. Her heart was broken. She was left alone. She loved her grandchild, her grandson so much. Always wanted to be beside him. But he was now a grown-up boy, a university child. He needed to study so much. Maybe he used to sit up late at nights. So the parents must have thought that he needs another room. But grandmother was silent about it. She felt bad, but she did not say anything. She quietly resigned in her own room, without any complaints. Third turning point came when he came and told her that he was now going abroad for higher studies. The grandchild was now going abroad for higher studies for 5 years. She was very sad about it. Very, very sad. And she said, she did not complain. She felt very sad that now at least she was able to see him every day. But now she would not be able to see him. But still, the day he was leaving, she accompanied him to the railway station. She was absolutely quiet. She kept telling her beads of rosary. But she did not complain. She did not cry. Maybe inside, she was crying. She was such a strong lady. She did not let her emotions come out. So, when they were parting there at the railway station, she kissed him on his forehead. And when she did that, Khushwant Singh felt that maybe that was the last physical contact he was having with grandmother. She was so old. He felt she would die one day before he came back. But no, this did not happen. And when he went there, now what would she do? Her routine had changed. There in the village, she used to go with him to the school. She used to sit in the temple, come back with him, and she was all busy with him. But now, after when she had come to the city and he had become busy with his studies, he had become big. And so now what she used to do, she used to sit alone the whole day. She had started, using that spinning wheel. She used to sit the whole day spinning. She used to sit on the spinning wheel. Then she kept saying her beads of rosary, kept praying the whole day. But I told you in the beginning that she loved animals. There she used to feed the dogs. But now in the city house, where she will go and find dogs? So she had started feeding the sparrows. There were many sparrows there and she used to go out. That was the time when she relaxed, and she was very happy at that time. She used to go out, she used to relax for some time. The sparrows, they came around her. She used to put breadcrumbs and all to eat. And all the sparrows came round her, sat on her head also, on her shoulder, on her hand. And the sparrows were so close to her. They became so close. So loving she was. She never shooed them away. She sat with loving hands and loving, peaceful face she had. And she used to feed them. So she loved animals, be it dogs or sparrows, whoever. Alright. And then when I told you when he went abroad, he felt that was the last physical contact when she kissed him on his forehead. But no, I told you she was a strong lady. After 5 years, he came back and he found her standing at the railway station to receive him. And that was so nice. So happy he must have felt. He also loved her a lot. That is why he has written about her. But, there are times, generally boys, they do not express their emotions. They are inside. They feel so. Even she did not say, I love you or anything. but her presence at every occasion proved her love for him. So she was there to receive him, and when she came back, she was so very happy that was the first evening when she forgot to pray. She did not say her prayers that day. She called all the neighborhood women and she told them to bring a drum. It was a dilapidated drum. A drum whose, those sides had sagged. It was an old drum. But still, she beat that drum and she sang songs for the, which are sung for the warriors who come back home. At the homecoming of the warriors, there are many, at that time there was war and all going on. There were many people who were soldiers and they were at the war fields. So when they used to, for so many years, the soldiers are not able to come back home. So there are so many songs made for them that when they come, they are celebrated. Their coming back home is celebrated, and songs are sung, and everybody dances and sings songs and all. So that was the first day when she sang songs, and she beat the drum and celebrated. But the next day, she was an old lady. But the next day, she was taken ill, and she was very unwell. Everybody told her that they called for the doctor. The doctor saw her, examined her, and said it was nothing to worry. She had exerted a lot. But she told everyone that her end was near. She knew it from before, and so she did not want to waste time. She wanted to say her prayers. She had already missed her prayers in the evening. So the next day, she kept telling her beads of rosary. She kept praying to God. And suddenly, her beads of rosary fell from her fingers, and they realized that she had gone. She had expired. It was so sad. But she was happy that he had come back home. She had celebrated that occasion. She must have gone satisfied and content that my grandson is back home. Isn't it? Next day, then they had to take her body for funeral, and they covered her with red shawl, and they took her out and kept her body in the courtyard. They were making other arrangements for the funeral. So when they kept her body at the courtyard, all the sparrows, she used to feed them. All the sparrows gathered round her body. None of the sparrows chirped. Just imagine, even sparrows have got so much of thinking. They think so much. They feel so much. We could see it here. They gathered round her, and it was such a pain-stricken sight. The Khushwant Singh's mother went inside. She brought breadcrumbs, and she thought that she should feed them like grandmother used to do so. But none of the sparrows took notice of the breadcrumbs. They did not touch. And when her body was taken for funeral, they all quietly after that flew away without touching the breadcrumbs. That was cleaned the next day by Khushwant Singh's grandmother. They had not eaten at all. It seemed they were also mourning. They were feeling so sad for the grandmother who had left for the heavenly abode. It's so nice, no? This grandmother was so loving, so nice. Khushwant Singh remembers her, and when he grew up, then he wrote down this. Grandmothers are so loving. The love that they can bestow cannot be compared with anybody else's love. And just imagine, even the birds were so sensible. Alright, so that was the story. I have just told you the story in outline. You have to read the book yourself, right? I have not missed anything. Now a little about grandmother's appearance. Grandmother, she was a I'll do with the character sketch also of her. We'll start with the physical appearance of her. Grandmother was what? She was a short lady, short, old and fat lady. Alright, and she hobbled around the house. When Khushwant Singh was very small, he used to see this fat lady, running here and there, doing all the household chores. And she was all, her hair was white. They used to sometimes be scattered on her face. And she used to look like winter landscape in the mountains. You know what are mountains? Mountains are those huge, strong, landscapes. And on top of that, when there is white snow, it looks so pure, so serene, so peaceful. Grandmother used to look like winter landscape in the mountains. An expanse of pure white serenity. What is serenity? Peace, peacefulness. Pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. She looked, her face expression was all, so pure, so satisfied and content. And so beautifully Khushwant Singh has written these words. Winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. So wonderfully he has written these words, isn't it? And when you read this, you can imagine this old lady with purity and simplicity and peace in her expressions. She was a whole crisscross of wrinkles. When people used to tell, when he was small, when people used to come and tell that your grandmother used to be young, she was very pretty, he did not believe them. He had never imagined grandmother being young. She was beautiful like this. He felt she was the same 20 years ago and she could not get a day older. She was like that for years. And when everybody told her that she was married once and she used to live with her husband, that was also, Khushwant Singh was not able to conceptualize this fact. He had seen his grandfather had already expired and his portrait was hanging in the drawing room wall. He had seen him, an old portrait of this grandfather. He was an old man with, he used to wear that turban and with all white beard, all around his white beard, round his chest. The whole portrait was, this all white hair and the beard. He looked so very old. And he being married, having children, he could not believe all that. He always felt that this man, my grandfather, was an old person, a grandfatherly person who could only have grandchildren. So that was the picture that he had in his mind. And let us quickly do with all the, we'll do it again and you'll, be able to remember the chapter very, very nicely when I do the different characters, highlighting grandmother. This is very important. Sometimes, in the exams and all, you get only a part to write, like tell about grandmother being a religious lady, or if she was an independent lady or not, or she was of strong character. Sometimes it's like that. But if you have a long answer, then you should compile it into a nice answer. All points are here. Let us quickly discuss and we'll again rewind the chapter also while discussing it. Alright, so we'll start from here. She was a pious and religious lady. Pious? She believed in God. She used to keep praying all the time. I told you she had beads of rosary and she used to keep, telling her beads of rosary, and that I told you that is a string with 108 beads, and when you keep saying, it's the count is going on, there's a knot at one side and you come to know that 108 times you have said so and so prayer. So she used to keep doing that. Then she used to bathe him in the morning and she used to say these prayers so that he got to hear and maybe he got to learn a little bit of them. Then she used to accompany him to the school, then sit in the temple and read scriptures. So there also she did that. And when she was in the city, she used to do the same even while spinning. When she was sitting on the spinning wheel and spinning the whole day, she was telling her prayers. She used to tell her the roads of beads of rosary. And even at the end, we see, before, when she came to know that when she felt that her death was near and she was going to die, she did not want to waste a second. She started saying her prayers. She started moving her hands quickly, telling the beads of rosary. So this all shows that she was a very religious lady. And one more thing, when she came to know that in the modern school they are not teaching anything about God and scriptures, she was very upset about it. She did not want this to happen. She wanted them to teach about gods, about scriptures. So this all shows that she was a religious and a pious lady. Now next is that she was very independent. She used to stay alone in the village, isn't it? And she took charge of the child and she was taking a lot of good care of him. She used to do everything alone. She early in the morning she used to get up, plaster his wooden slate, getting it ready for school. Then she used to wake him up, bathe him, dress him, give him breakfast. All this she was doing independently. She did not call anyone for help. She used to go and take him to the school. She used to bring him back. They used to feed the dogs on the way. Everything was being done independently. Then when they shifted, okay, the way she brought him also is that then they shared a strong bond. And when they came to the city, and she was secluded altogether because he had grown up and he had a separate room. I told you that she took her seclusion with recognition. She wanted to be alone. She quietly resigned without complaining because she was independent. She used to independently use that spinning wheel. She used to keep praying. So this all shows her independence. Alright. Next was she was loving. All throughout we are seeing she loved the grandson so much. In the beginning we see that she brought him up with so much of love. Everything she did for him. Then when they moved to the city, she was very upset about things that were taught in the modern education system because she loved the grandchild so much and she wanted that all that she liked should be taught. So that was a way to show love. Then when the room was shifted, she felt very bad because she felt that was a bond when they used to sleep together, but now the room was also separate. Then when he was going abroad, she went to the railway station. She wanted to accompany till the railway station at least, and she kissed him on the forehead so lovingly. And lastly, when he came back, she was so very happy that she called all the neighborhood ladies to celebrate and to sing songs, and she beat the drum and they sang songs which were meant for actually homecoming of warriors. And she herself felt that grandchild was also a warrior who had come back home. And so she was so very happy. So this all shows her love for grandchild. Then she was an educated lady. We see that she was reading scriptures, and because she was educated, so she knew what was the village education system, and that is why she was against the modern education system. But she was an educated lady. Then she was of a strong character. This is very, very important about Khushwant Singh's grandmother. See, number one, when the parents moved to city, she took charge of him and did everything that we have talked about. Alright, then she was a very hard-working lady. She used to do all her work alone, grandchild's work alone. When they came to the city, there also she used to, sit on the spinning wheel and she used to spin the whole day, and she used to work very hard. So this all shows in the village also she was doing everything. So that shows her hard-working character. Then she never complained. She could have complained, why you are going in this school, why in the motor bus, why this, why that, why going to shifting the room, why going abroad for higher study. She could have complained, why should I stay alone in a room? She did not. She did not complain at all. Alright. Then she never revolted. Same way, she never complained, she never revolted. because she had inner strength to withdraw. She was strong inside. Even when she went to the railway station, she did not complain. She did not cry there. She was very sad inside, I'm sure. But she had inner strength to curb it. Alright? And then even at the end was near, she kept saying her prayers. This shows her strong character. She could have, people were telling her to rest, to lie down, to sleep, to take rest, but she did not. She said, I don't want to waste any time. She felt that she had not prayed the previous evening, and now she did not want to waste any time. She kept saying her prayers and telling her beads of rosary. Alright, then she loved animals. I told you that she used to carry stale chapatis for the dogs. While coming back from school and temple, they used to feed the dogs. And then the sparrows. When she came to the city and she could not find dogs, so she took to sparrows, and every day she used to sit and feed them with breadcrumbs and all, and the sparrows loved her so much. Some sat on her head, on her shoulder, and they used to eat from her hand, and that was such a beautiful, but it must have been a beautiful sight, such a loving sight. Alright, so, and at the end also we see this, she loved the sparrows so much that even that is why the sparrows loved her so much. And at the end we see how they mourned when they saw her dead body. They sat round her, they gathered round her dead body, and they did not touch they did not chirp, they did not make any noise, they did not touch the breadcrumbs also. So this shows that the sparrows too had regards for her. And then the physical appearance. I will repeat again. This is also very important because sometimes you get a question based on only physical appearance. See, she was a short lady, old lady, I told you, fat lady, and she was bent, slightly bent. So she used to keep one hand here, and one hand was always telling the rows of these beads of rosary. Got it? Just imagine. And this white hair and sometimes scattered around her face, and beautiful crisscross of wrinkles were there, but she used to look beautiful. Khushwant Singh always felt that she was beautiful like this. She could never imagine her young and pretty. He felt she was pretty like this. So that was her physical appearance, and I told you to learn this, use this in inverted commas in your answer. It's so beautiful written that she was a winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure serenity, white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. Such beautiful words. By just reading these words, you can imagine this old lady with white hair, with full of peace and contentment on her face, the expressions. This was a beautiful pen picture of Khushwant Singh's grandmother. Very nicely he has done. And please go through your books, read everything. I have covered every bit, I think. Every bit. Not left anything. And please read. If you come through any problems, I have even given my mail ID, and anyways you have the comment section, you can put them there. And yes, if still you have not rung that bell for notifications and subscribed my channel, please do it now, and do take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.